跟女权是全世界最高的权利，女权权利。
你问我的这个问题我不了解，
因为你看啊，对比我们周边的东南亚国家，阿三、泰国、印度，那别说印度了，韩国，还有什么那美国，我觉得还是中国吧，因为我在美国也待过，在欧洲，就是你在欧洲也去过嘛，对不对？你觉不觉得中国的女性的权利是全世界？就目前这个阶段，以前的确是中国女性的权利很低，就是在放在古代社会，但是当下这个社会，中国女性的她的不管是发声权还是在婚姻中的地位，以及她的责任和义务的程度比。你觉不觉得是最高的？
大家社会劳动力了解一下，
没有，
刚刚讲那2点还
没有这么觉得。
你在你心目中的中国男人应该找什么样的男人？
我要找一个有责任心的。
啊，
中国有责任心的人很多。然后对我好的。
你多大了？年龄呢？
我今年24。
24。
我21年。
然后你想找多少大的男人呢
？30以下。
30以下是吧？好的。然后你对这个中国男人的地位有要求吗？
没有具体的要求。
是靠近你们那个越南、云南那边，还是靠近我们江浙沪这边？
Nowadays, especially in regions near Vietnam, across several parts of China and in various blind date events, many foreign women, Russians, Belarusians, Ukrainians, among others, have started appearing in search of marriage. They offer conditions such as no dowry required, and this has deeply unsettled many Chinese women. Some have even vented in the comments, saying they can no longer stand this situation. Oh, they just want China's green card. They get it and then break up with you. Then the men started responding. So what? They married me, didn't ask for a dowry, didn't take my property. What's wrong with wanting a green card? As for those who don't want our green card, they ask for 188,000 or 88,000 yuan in dowry, and what happens after that? They get married and divorce soon after. Isn't that even worse? What do you say to that? In fact, sometimes I think allowing foreign women to come to our country and become Chinese daughters-in-law isn't necessarily a bad thing. It might even help curb the toxic culture of excessive dowries and pointless social comparison. After all, our country is made up of many ethnic groups, 56, right? So adding a few more wouldn't be a problem at all. We Chinese are quite tolerant.
A beautiful Russian woman born in the 2000s appeared at a blind date event holding a sign to promote herself. On the sign, it was written that she holds a master's degree from Peking University, Beidar, and owns 2 houses and a farm in Russia. Now, she just wants to find a reliable Chinese boyfriend. And most surprisingly, she doesn't ask for a dowry. Another Russian woman, at a matchmaking corner in Chengdu, said she owns her own house and car, and only asks for a symbolic dowry of 8,800 yuan. These wealthy and beautiful foreign women who have come from afar have shaken China's marriage market. They generally have high education, good looks, and strong income, speak multiple languages, and have already adapted to Chinese culture and customs. Most importantly, the majority of them don't ask Chinese men for any dowry at all. All they want is a reliable partner who treats his wife well. For Chinese men and their parents, this is a source of great joy. A woman in Shanghai's People's Park, looking for a daughter-in-law for her son, said, "Local girls not only demand a house and a car but also a dowry of at least 380,000 yuan. Foreign girls are younger, in better condition, and don't ask for a dowry. Of course we prefer them." But older single Chinese women have begun to panic. On social media, it's easy to find comments saying, "Foreign women, get out of China's dating market." Some accuse them of destroying fairness in the matchmaking scene, while others blame Chinese men for not being good enough for Chinese women and now relying on foreign women to save them. However, despite the criticism, nothing has slowed the rise of international marriages. From the perspective of Chinese men, foreign women have excellent qualities. Most are between 20 and 25 years old, many hold master's or doctoral degrees. And they make few demands. Owning a house or car isn't required. As long as the man is reliable, some are even willing to contribute financially. For foreign women, Chinese men are seen as ideal partners, family-oriented, hardworking, and known for treating their wives well. They don't display the machismo typical of Korean or Japanese men. Compared to that, China's current marriage market seems distorted. The data proves it. In 2024, only 6.106 million couples registered marriages, almost half the number from a decade ago, while international marriages increased by 63%. In Yunnan province, the number of men marrying Burmese women increased sixfold in 3 years. In Anhui, international marriages grew 6 times as well. But if China still has around 100 million single women, why are so many men choosing to cross language and cultural barriers to marry foreigners? Just look at the matchmaking corners of Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou. Men without houses or cars aren't even allowed to participate. And even those who buy them with great effort are still judged by height, education, and bank balance. A man earning 5,000 yuan per month is considered bottom tier in the Chinese dating market. But in Southeast Asia, he's seen as a high-income professional. Worse still, in China, after paying a 300,000 yuan dowry, buying a house and car, and handing over his salary, a man might only get a wedding gift of 3 blankets in return. Meanwhile, old Wang from Guangxi, who only knows how to say "ni hao," married a Ukrainian woman fluent in 3 languages. And in Yunnan, during a single wedding ceremony, 8 grooms married foreign brides. Recent policies have further fueled this marriage revolution. The government abolished household registration, hukou, restrictions and now allows online submission of international marriage documents. Behind the 700,000 foreign wives who entered China, there's solid economic logic. At the same time, China's birth rate continues to plummet. Since 2022, the annual number of newborns has fallen below 10 million. Today, there are at least 30 million single men without partners. One key reason is that older Chinese women have been overvalued by capitalism. They expect men to financially support the home, provide constant emotional attention, and regardless of their own conditions, demand huge dowries, full house payments, and cars. Practically non-negotiable requirements. That's why they can't understand why foreign women are willing to marry without dowries or material conditions. In their view, since there are more single men than women in China, women should have the upper hand and be able to set high standards. But what they don't realize is that many Chinese men have already abandoned this logic. Some no longer see marriage and children as life necessities, while others have fully embraced international marriages. As a result, today's matchmaking market shows a massive gender imbalance. And single women over 30 have become the most anxious group. Even with the rise of international marriages, they still make up a small portion of the market. What truly prevents young people from marrying are the sky-high housing prices, the ever-rising cost of living, and a future full of uncertainty. If these problems aren't solved, China's marriage market will continue to deteriorate. And the moment when older single women truly break down, do you know when that is? I just received a letter from a 35-year-old woman. She said she deeply regrets it. She had just celebrated her 35th birthday.
I really regret it. I just turned 35, but now every suitor my family introduces to me thinks I'm already too old. The matchmaker introduced me to a man who truly made my heart race. But he rejected me too. If he had chosen a woman with better conditions, better looks, or a better family than mine, that would be fine. But no, he chose a girl who's inferior to me in every aspect. Just younger, a recent college graduate from a year or 2 ago. I was completely shattered. Is age really that important? If that's the case, then the belief I've always held, that if I became a better, more educated, and more independent woman, I would meet a more perfect man, was wrong, wasn't it? There were only about a dozen men. In the famous matchmaking corner at People's Square in Shanghai, the ratio between men and women has reached astonishing levels. According to data from the Jiayuan platform, in major cities the dating market is dominated by women. In some areas the ratio reaches 41 men for every 40 women, a figure that reveals a striking imbalance. All this shows that men with good conditions who genuinely want to marry are becoming increasingly rare, and demand far exceeds supply. The reason is painful. Women have been overvalued. Men have already given up. And the relationship market has become completely mismatched. To put it plainly, yes, there are more men than women. But among those extra 30 million men, most aren't even within women's range of choice. In women's selection standards, the ideal man must have a house, a car, and money. Preferably a stable job, good looks, a decent height. And also be emotionally attentive. But if you think about it, the men who meet all those criteria barely finish university before they are already married, never even entering the dating market. For men, the entry threshold is high. Those with low income, poor education, low salaries, no job, or from rural areas simply can't participate. For women, on the other hand, the threshold is low. As long as they are young or not unattractive, they have a chance. This natural imbalance creates an awkward situation. For a woman, it's easy to find suitors, but for many men, it's nearly impossible. Even so, women continue to be influenced by capitalist ideals, maintaining the mindset of better single than settling for less. Meanwhile, men have completely given up, lying flat, playing games, spending money on them, and the emotional economy collapses. From the male perspective, the logic is simple. If I can't find a partner, can't afford a wedding or support a family, then I might as well play games and take care of myself. Deep down, while the economy advances, ideas about marriage are regressing to the past. The belief that a man must buy a house, a car, and pay a large dowry to marry is the true cause of the mismatch in the marriage market. And finally, a symbolic detail. When I went to observe registration at a matchmaking event, several men told me, "We'd rather marry a divorced woman with kids than a 39-year-old woman who's never been married."
While she kept choosing and choosing, the reliable men around her were taken one by one, and she remained stuck in a fantasy world, dreaming that one day a dominant CEO would fall in love with her. To be honest, today's dating market is brutally realistic. Once a woman passes the age of 30, no matter how excellent she is, the attention she receives inevitably starts to fade, not because she isn't good enough, but because society imposes a very strict limit on a woman's time. After all, fertility is an obstacle that can't be ignored. Many men, upon hearing that a woman is older, automatically think of things like higher pregnancy risk, harder to communicate, or different life values. As a result, women become increasingly passive in the dating market. Men with good conditions see them as too old or lacking prospects, and at the same time, they themselves no longer feel attracted to those men either.
You know what? Things in Suzhou are tough. All the good men are being snatched away by foreign women. Recently, I saw a blogger online saying that many foreign women are coming to China to find husbands. Ukrainian, Russian, and others, all of them beautiful with good looks and long legs. At first, I thought Chinese men would reject them, but to my surprise, they really like them. These men say that many Chinese women demand a house, a car, and a dowry, and after marriage they still expect to be treated like the center of attention, which they find exhausting. But foreign women, on the other hand, don't ask for a house, car, or dowry, and they take good care of the family. It's basically a dream come true. It seems that international marriages are truly becoming the trend of the future. So what do you think about this?
In the end, this situation in China's dating market is more than just a curiosity. It's a mirror reflecting a deep shift in how people perceive love, marriage, and their own value. What was once seen as a matter of destiny or emotion now feels more like an economic negotiation, a game of status and convenience. And in that game, real love ends up being the first casualty. The invasion of foreign women, blonde, young, Mandarin-speaking, and willing to give up dowries has become a symbol of that collapse. It's not just about foreign women stealing Chinese men. It's about how unsustainable the domestic market has become, how unrealistic the expectations are. When a woman in her early 20s saying, "I don't want a dowry, I want a family," becomes explosive news, it means something deeper than cultural difference is at play. The contrast is stark. On one side, highly educated, independent Chinese women with brilliant careers but trapped by impossible standards. On the other, foreign women who present themselves as simple, traditional, family-oriented. And between those two extremes stands the Chinese man torn between social pressure and the desire for a relationship without transactions. It's no wonder many have decided to lie flat, give up, play games, and withdraw. Ironically, in a country with over 30 million more men than women, abundance has turned into scarcity. Because the real issue isn't the lack of people, it's the collapse of expectations. The culture of dowries, social status, men must have houses, cars, and money, and women must never settle, has created an entire generation of singles who see love as an impossible equation. And when marriage becomes a bargaining market, as I said, no one truly wins. Not the man who pays a high price, not the woman who waits for the impossible, and not the nation that watches love turn into statistics. The future may belong to those who can find balance, self-worth with empathy, ambition with affection, freedom with responsibility. So here's the question: did love disappear, or did its price simply become too high? If you liked this title and want to see more videos like this with critical insights, real stories, and the dilemmas of modern Asia, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next one. And tell me in the comments, would you marry a foreign woman? See you in the next video.